Yo, what's going on, Dragon Ballers? Welcome back to another deck profile. I am here with Ali, who got a first place finish with Reboot Gohan. Ali, just talk about the event you played in, and I know you're actually a back-to-back first placer. Is that right?
Yeah.
That's all
Yeah, I man.
pretty awesome to hear.
Yeah, I managed to take the finals event, like for the first series, for the webcam events, when best of 3 with this deck as well.
That's very awesome, man. So you played Reboot Gohan, obviously. You've done very well with the deck. What made you want to play Reboot Gohan, or what has made you want to play this deck, over the course of just like the beginning of set 11 format?
I think one of the biggest things is just the fact that, like, it's first of all, it's like a really cheap deck to build.
Yep.
So, you don't have to like buy into like expensive TP promos, expensive SCRs. And the deck itself is just like obviously like super aggro. So like it can aggro back other aggro decks, so you don't like lose if like you try to play a control deck that like just is weak to like turn 2 aggro. And against control decks, some have like some answers, but for the most part, like there are ways to play like around control decks in order to like really be able to go against it well. Like there's only a handful of decks that like really hard answer this deck, but they're not in the format like with a major presence at the moment.
Yeah, I can agree with that. I would say yellow is probably the hardest check to your deck because of like Release from Evil, Zamasu super combo. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, yellow is like pretty much like the number one answer.
Yeah, so the nice thing about that is there's not a lot of yellow in the format, so it definitely seems like a pretty solid time to be playing a deck like this. So going on to the main deck, we have 8 1-drop double strikers and 4 of the Gohan, basically the 1-drop crit. So this, besides your leader, I guess, this seems like your main form of aggression. So what I noticed with your deck list, and we'll get through that as we go through it, is like there aren't a ton of other things in the deck that really provide aggression besides these cards right here and your leader. Like there's no arrivals, like some other lists play some arrivals and things like that. So I would ask you, did you really just lean heavily into your leader for the most part?
For the most part, yes, just because you do want to like finish the game like super early so you don't give your opponent that much time to recover. Usually it's mainly you just like ideally you want to do the damage with your like weenie 1-drops and then go in with your leader if it's like a safe move to go with. Like sometimes like you play off some of the free play cards in order to like put them to where like say they can't use sparking, so they're forced, they'll be forced to take the hit if they're tapped out.
So that makes a lot of sense. Yeah, I mean, it seems like you definitely want to go with your leader a lot, and we do have some other battle cards in the deck that we'll talk about. So 4 Infernal Emperor Frieza, I'm assuming this just like rip your life as fast as physically possible. And the 4 Supreme Kai of Time. This is actually a really cool tech I saw in your deck list, obviously, because I didn't realize that the combo effect was generic. Obviously, you're not playing this for free by milling it, but your deck doesn't really mill anyway. But I like the fact that this is like a free 10k combo in the deck. So when did you like come on to start playing this card?
It was honestly like early on when I picked up the deck, because I saw a lot of lists were running like Deluge of Power, which is a really good card and it really helps like keeping your weenies alive. But I didn't like the fact that on your leader card, which is like the main thing you're using to like finish out a game, it's a 5k combo. So with this one, like it really allows you to like put a lot of pressure on your opponent, even with like just 2 or 3 cards in hand. And you've already used up your super combos.
Yeah, that seems really, really good. I actually like this tech a lot. And it just feeds into the same thing of just going ham with your leader. And this card seems to do that quite well. And then the 2 Hidden Power Supreme Kai. So are there some scenarios like where you just can't win the game with your leader and you need this card in certain matchups?
Yeah, it's like a lot of times in matchups where, say, I can't commit to the like restand on my leader, so I try to like either put some damage in like with an overall with a Supreme Kai on it, or just in general, like if I feel like it's not safe to take life at the moment, or sometimes if I just really need to put my opponent, like I need to deal them 2 damage and without taking either life, or if I just don't want to give them any extra cards with the triple.
Gotcha. That makes a lot of sense. And actually, I would actually almost bet that this is sometimes relevant where you actually don't want to call it double, so you can just combo this, put them at, you know, let's say from like 4 to 3, and then you can just like, you know, kill them with the leader triple strike that way, right?
Definitely, because a lot of times you just want to like deny them as little cards as possible. So sometimes you don't want to put the double on it. You just want it for that extra 10k that you need to combo it for.
Right. That seems really good. All right, so moving along, I have some questions here. So, Android 18 Steadfast Technique. I actually want to read this one real quick because I'm not sure everyone knows. I kind of forget what it does too. So, auto, choose one extra card in your hand and place it in your drop area. When you combo with this card, it gets plus 6,000 combo power for the duration of the turn. Okay, so reading that and kind of just refreshing my memory on what it does, there are a bunch of extra cards in the deck that we will see in just a bit. But yeah, this makes sense. So, sometimes when you can't combo with those extra cards like Feet or Cells or Destroying Kamehameha, this turns that basically into an additional 5,000 combo, so that definitely seems really good. And then Bell Mod, so choosing 3 of your battle cards and place them in the drop area. Is this mostly just for another free attacker?
Free attacker, and sometimes if I have a white board and I don't want to lose cards from hand, but I want to like do an overall play, I'll do the Bell Mod in order to like just throw 3 cards into the drop area without actually losing any combo power.
Okay, that actually seems quite good. Yeah, to just automatically fill your drop, because those 1-drop weenies, when you attack with them, they're most likely going to die in the next turn, right? So just making use of them right then and there seems really good. And then Grade 8 Mass Sand Primal Carnage. So it doesn't really feel like Reboot Gohan even needs an SCR, but like why do you go with this one? Is it just for the late game finishing power, or is it for the combo kill anything? What's this card doing for you in the deck?
It's mainly for that like combo. Since there's a lot of times like where aggro decks will press you really hard with either something with barrier or just go really tall on you, and the SCR just seems like it helps so much. Like I've won a lot of Vegx matchups because they thought it was safe to like swing in with their barrier promo Vegeta, the Reluctant Reinforcements.
Yep.
And like they'll put a lot of power on it and combo, send to drop in, KO it, and then they lose not only that attack but the burn promo that they're gonna play off of it.
Gotcha. So this is not like one of the most expensive SCRs by any means, but it is, you know, I want to say maybe like 40, 60, 80 bucks. Does that sound about right? I don't remember exactly how much it is.
I believe it's around like the 40 to 60 range.
Okay, that's not too bad, but still for some people might not be like within their budget. So would you say you need this card or not so much?
No, you don't need this card in particular. It's just since I have access to it, like I feel like that's
why not
a good
play it,
card
right?
to run. And also it somewhat helps the Invoker matchup if they manage to like
drag out
the Vegeta. A lot of times I've had them like where they play the Vegeta and then swing at one of my weenies to like get rid of it and tap 1 to do it, and they just lost their whole defense for the turn.
That's cool. I think the budget players will like that a lot, that you don't really necessarily need it, but there are some scenarios where it's definitely pretty good, you know? Yeah. So going on to some more of like the aggressive engine, the Bardock Awakened Instincts comboing with Beerless Godly Majesty. This actually seems like a really good way to get Belmont on board. So just playing the Bardock by itself gets you the Godly Majesty on the board, as long as you have it like, you know, in your hand. And then, you know, playing 1 weenie gets you access to Belmont. So that's like, you know, 4 attacks right there. One of them can be double strike or crit depending on which weenie you play. So that's a lot of aggression right there. And then you have the 2-2 split of the super combos. Why this split in particular? Why not just like one or the other?
So originally I had been running with the Android 18, like just 4 of to like diminish hand. But like with this list in particular, since I did change it up like in terms of like the extra card count, I wanted to make sure that I had access to like a way to declunk my hand, and along with the Android 18, the Paragon just did the job, and it just helps you like dig a little bit more if you're looking for that like one specific card, whether it's like Feet or Cells Kamehameha, or just trying to get more combo power in.
Right, and that is the one thing, which we'll see in just a second. You do run a lot of extra cards, which is another reason why that Android 18 seems quite good. So 4 Earth Destroying, 4 Feet, makes a lot of sense. Heart Arrow of Love, I do want to read real quick. So activate battle, choose one of your green leaders or battle cards. It gets plus 10,000 power for the battle. Then if it's your turn, choose up to 2 of your opponent's battle cards with a cost of 3 or less and KO them. So Feet and Earth Destroying are pretty self-explanatory. Heart Arrow of Love, it seems like, you know, obviously this offers you some removal. why did you want this instead of like just off the top of my head, maybe like a combo that a 10k combo that draws a card, right? Like why did you want the removal in this card?
One of the like biggest weaknesses to the deck is cheap blockers, and right now with the introduction of Red Broly, they're able to like put in 2 ball blockers on board like turn 1 or 2. So it's like I need a way to be able to remove them efficiently without like having to like do a convoluted play where I have to bring a bunch of stuff out or like put a lot of energy into it. And Hard Arrow just like it made sense once I added in the Android 18s to balance out the extra cards, since it's able to pop 2 blockers against the Red Broly matchup, and against a matchup like Vegex, I can pop the Trunks blocker and a Supreme Kai from board. Like it just offers a lot of value in terms of removal, which is something that really, like, the deck is able to go so much more fluid without having to deal with like those blockers on board.
That's very cool. Yeah, actually, and also too, Bulma being a relevant deck right now, that seems like it
That
makes a lot
too,
of sense.
that as well. I've had to play against Bulma players in my local, and there's times where literally like I've had to use this and it's just like crazy good.
That's really cool. Yeah, no, I didn't think about it in that context, but it definitely seems very, very good. So I have one more question about the deck. So you do have a lot of these extra cards, and obviously they're all very, very good. And I know the deck is like mostly mono green, but did you ever think about just adding blue for Senzu Bean to make a bit more use out of the extra cards, or you just maybe couldn't fit it?
Personally, like I enjoyed like the mono green version like a lot better. Just like the blue green version, like it's really good, but you can't go for that turn 2 kill like super consistently because it requires you to like see a lot of different cards. With this one, like it's always a consistent, like turn 1 you set up a Self Awakener, turn 2 you can swing it with it, then play 2 more Self Awakeners, then you can take 3 life in total, and if they hit you once then you can awaken. If they don't, you can play 1 more Self Awakener and be able to awaken. Like there's a lot of games where like if they know how to play against the deck, they won't swing at you if they're going second, because that forces me to have 3 Self Awakeners in total in order to pop off that turn. With getting the triple strike 3 times with the restand ability.
Gotcha. Okay, so that's the deck list in its entirety. I do appreciate you taking the time to answer the questions. Any final shout outs you want to get out there with your very good finish over the weekend?
I want to give a shout out to my team, Meta Club. We're down in Houston. We've been trying to like show that the South, we have some good players. Like, we try to represent, because it's always a good bit of a East and West like situation in terms of when people are talking about like what region. But the South, we have some great players. We're able to do a lot, and we're trying to get a bigger impact out in the community right now.
Awesome, man. Thank you so much. Congratulations on your finish again, and we will see you next time.
All right, thank you so much.